What is narcolepsy?
So narcolepsy, I'll explain it the way that my first ever sleep doctor explained it to me. She said, the thing in your brain that tells you when to be awake and when to fall asleep is broken. So narcolepsy is not just falling asleep all the time. We also deal with insomnia too.
Tell me what led to you first seeking treatment from a sleep doctor.
Oh, okay. Well, I was driving home in northern Alabama. It was the kind of mountainous area. And I was going down this mountain. I had my cruise control set to 70 miles per hour, and I fell asleep at the wheel. And my vehicle, I flipped it end over end multiple times going down this mountain, and landed it in the median, like partially ejected. And I got airlifted to a major hospital. And from that moment on, I think that's when people started taking my excessive daytime sleepiness seriously, and they encouraged me to seek out a sleep specialist.
Tell me about your husband.
My husband, hi. He's my biggest support. We met in martial arts, became best friends. We just grew our friendship and just fell in love.
Did you meet before or after your narcolepsy diagnosis?
Before, yeah.
Could you tell that she had a unique sleep pattern?
No, not at the time. We met, we met in martial arts, and we weren't nearly as close at the time. I only knew that she was having a lot of problems with things like that a lot closer to the diagnosis and the accident that she was in.
It's funny because I have a list of narcolepsy symptoms in front of me, and the main ones listed first aren't even about sleep. The first one is loss of muscle control. Mm-hmm. And then also hallucination. Have you experienced that?
Oh yes. Sometimes I will start dreaming before I'm asleep. And that happened a lot when I was in high school, actually. I would be like taking notes, and then I would start to dream of something, and automatic behavior, that's another symptom of narcolepsy. I would keep writing even though my brain is totally asleep, although my body's awake. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
So you are dreaming like in your mind, but your body just keeps going?
Yes.
And you have no memory of it once you wake up?
No memory of what happened, no. I just, I will wake up and see what I was doing. So like if the example where I was taking notes, my handwriting was completely illegible.
What is it like where you start dreaming, but you're still kind of awake?
Scary. Yeah, it's scary because it feels like you've lost time. Like things could have happened during those minutes or however long it was. You don't even know. And yeah, it's scary.
And then there's been times where she's messaged me or even called me and she's actually asleep, and I don't even know she's asleep. And so later on she's like, what is this? When did we talk? And so, yeah.
What will she say?
Just normal stuff. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't pull it out because they were just normal things that you would expect to talk about. It's very brief is all. It happens for a few texts and then just poof, gone.
When somebody has narcolepsy, are their brain scans literally different than a person who doesn't have narcolepsy?
No, the scans are the same. However, if they test for a chemical called hypocretin or orexin, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, people with type 1 narcolepsy are actually born without it.
There's different types of narcolepsy?
Yes, there are two types.
Which type do you have?
I have type 1. At the time when I was diagnosed, it was called narcolepsy with cataplexy, and type 2 is narcolepsy without cataplexy.
What does that mean?
So cataplexy is this phenomenon where you lose muscle control at extreme emotions. For me personally, it can range from it being like a really simple thing, such as if somebody surprises me, and surprise is my major trigger for cataplexy. I will drop something I'm holding. It'll like just be in my arms, or there have been times when it was a full body attack.
My grandmother had said something funny but off the wall. She did not expect my grandmother to say something like it. Of course,
she surprised me. It
yeah,
was so funny.
She grew up with grandparents that are like very in the church and everything else, and this grandmother's not like that. She said something and it was so funny, she just dropped everything she had right there and like lost all control of her arms. And it you know, in hindsight, not so much, but it was funny.
Do you know why surprises trigger that cataplexy?
I don't. And it's interesting because other people with narcolepsy, they can be triggered by anger, by just different emotions. For me, it's always surprise.
Tell me about all of the ways your sleep cycle is impacted by narcolepsy type 1.
Oh boy. My answer depends on if you're talking about me medicated or if I don't take my medication, because my sleep cycle right now is completely regulated by medication.
Let's start unmedicated, then we'll go to medicated.
Okay. So unmedicated, it's like pulling teeth to get me out of bed. I just can't wake up sometimes. And then at nighttime, when it's appropriate to be asleep, I will have the worst insomnia. I would stay up for days on end and then crash for days on end.
How many days are we talking?
I would stay up for usually 3 days, and then I would sleep, I guess, for also about 3 days. I would just go through these cycles.
What did you think when she was sleeping for basically 3 days and then awake for 3 days? Did you notice?
Yes and no, but at the time, I mean, she was living with her parents and stuff, so a lot of our interactions were either texting or anything like that. And I would just notice she kind of disappears for a little while. It wasn't until later that I knew that she was disappearing from the world entirely for that long. So, but that being said, even when she sleeps for 3 days or whatever, it doesn't mean that she's literally just down and out for 3 days. It's the vast majority of each of those days she's been asleep. She gets up sometimes to. I've seen her get up during those times where she'll watch a TV show and then crash at the end of it, or even play a game or get up to eat or whatever. But it's usually no more than a couple hours. So the thing is if you're not there with her, she might answer a text during that time, and you'll think she's awake and fine and everything, and you just go about your day.
How long did you live with the sleep cycle?
How long was I in undergrad? I'd say about 4 years.
At any point did it occur to you, something's off with my sleep cycle?
It should have, but it didn't, because I just thought, I'm just a college student that works really hard.
What about medicated?
Medicated, I wake up, take my narcolepsy meds, I go through my day. I almost never have sleep attacks if I take my meds on time. And then at night, I'm usually so tired that I could fall asleep by myself, but I have some medication in case I need it to fall asleep.
What is a sleep attack?
A sleep attack is when you're awake and alert and you just feel this insatiable urge to sleep. Like it's different from feeling, I kind of feel like taking a nap. No, it's I'm going to take a nap right now and I need to find a safe place to do it. For example, recently I was leaving work and I had a sleep attack. So I pulled over in a less than desirable place and slept for an hour.
So when you feel a sleep attack coming on, it's gonna happen. Like it can't be regulated.
Not that I found.
Can you tell when a sleep attack is coming on?
Yeah, usually you can. I think she knows way before I can know, but yeah, it's pretty obvious because as she said, there's no stopping it. You know, I think maybe I've managed to like be in a situation where we've stopped it maybe once ever. So it's better to just kind of take what your plans are for the day or whatever, just adjust them a little bit.
Does he do anything to accommodate you that makes your life with narcolepsy a bit easier?
Yes. Whenever I have sleep attacks and he's around, sometimes he will nap with me and make me feel way less guilty for having to lay down.
Can you feel guilty if you get a sleep attack?
Yes.
Why?
Because plans have to change or shift. If I'm by myself, it's not too much of a disruption. The main disruption comes when I'm around other people because they don't understand when I need to go and lay down.
What advice do you have for somebody who has a loved one who was just diagnosed with narcolepsy?
Be patient. Also, kind of keep in mind narcolepsy too is going to feed back into focus and attention. I try to help her remember when she's taking her medicines and whatnot, stuff like that. I also would say that, you know, make sure you're helping when they start taking meds. Watch what they're doing, how the behaviors change, because just because they're treating something doesn't necessarily mean it won't have adverse effects that cause other more negative things that we would want to pay attention to and adjust meds. So it really is just patience and pay attention and help.
Did you experience any side effects of medication at first?
Yes. Yes, there have been many narcolepsy medications that I have failed. The medication makes me have a tolerance to it, so I have to take like vacations from it.
What are vacations like?
They're grueling. I have to go. So if I have like, let's say I have a week off from work or I'm going on vacation somewhere, I will try my best not to take it just to kind of reset my tolerance.
What happens during that time?
I struggle. I struggle to stay awake a lot.
Is it hard for you to enjoy your vacations because you're resetting the medication?
It can be. And that's why I don't commit to no meds during that time. I will just greatly reduce them.
It sounds like with narcolepsy, once you find the appropriate medication and things are going well, you still have to observe and make sure that that baseline is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think too, narcolepsy has a lot of, the medications it has a lot of crossover with a lot of other things. You know, narcolepsy a lot of times goes hand in hand with people who have depression and things like that, and those medicines have a lot of crossover. So while you're trying to fix this one thing with narcolepsy, it might be exacerbating something in depression. So you try to fix that, and then it goes back and messes with the narcolepsy. So you got to find the right balance for you.
How long did it take for you to find the right medication?
We'll let you know.
Yeah.
It's always changing.
Well,
but yeah.
I've been pretty stable on my meds for, 2 years? A year?
Yeah, probably about 2 years.
About 2 years.
Which is kind of long for her.
Is somebody born with narcolepsy, or is it kind of developed and acquired along the way?
So people are born with it, but it doesn't show signs usually until people are like in their late teens. Although in extreme cases, it can show up in childhood.
Once you were diagnosed with narcolepsy and you reflected upon your childhood, could you see signs and symptoms of narcolepsy?
I could, and I thought that was very funny. I had never thought about it before. Like all these pictures of me as a kid asleep, sleeping in weird positions. And I'm sure my parents didn't think anything of it either. They thought, oh, that's a cute picture, but all the pictures I'm asleep.
Is there anything you wish you knew when you first met Alexandra about how to be supportive of a person with narcolepsy that you know now?
I don't want to say that there's more that I wished I knew, but I wished I had more tools at the beginning, because it's been a learning process for me. I wasn't as patient in the past as I am now when it's required. How to deal with her, knowing, again, the patience, but it's not just that. It's like if it's time to wake up, not just trying to get her up abruptly and, let's go and push, but you kind of have to ease her into it. Start a little bit, get her awake, come back 30 minutes later, lower that window a little bit each time, then bribe her a little bit to get her out of bed. It's like a whole fun thing. Exactly that. I try to have fun with it sometimes, not at her expense, don't get me wrong. But so just knowing how to do those things, yes, but mostly that comes down to my toolkit in general. I wished it was a little more expensive. But at the same time, I feel like the learning journey of it all has helped with those, to form those tools that, I don't know how to explain it. The journey learning it has really helped me not just have the tools, but know how to use them properly, I guess you could say.
Why can it be a struggle to just instantly wake up as soon as he wakes you up?
I feel this just overwhelming urge to just fall into this deep sleep. Like it's hard to explain. It's just, I feel like I'm fighting something that I have no control over.
Is that what narcolepsy is?
I guess technically, yeah.
Can a person with narcolepsy still live a full life?
Oh, absolutely. I work in healthcare in the neurology field, actually, thanks to my narcolepsy diagnosis. And I have a very fulfilling career, a fulfilling life with a husband and stepson and my family, even though I have narcolepsy.